Hey church family, welcome back to the fast. And today I want to talk to the single people for a second. And if you're not single, if you're married, listen up, because you can also learn from this. And this comes from somebody with some experience. I just got married a month ago, but I learned valuable lessons during my singleness time. And I know here at the church we love to talk about family, we love to talk about marriage because it's a beautiful thing. But it's also important to talk about singleness and what that looks like. And if you have a desire to be married, if you have a desire to be a life of singleness, either way, God has a purpose for you. And you're not, one thing I had to learn while I was single is you're not in this weird holding tank. Like, you're not complete when you're married. You are in a sense, but you are complete single as well. And I want to talk about that today as well, about the desire you have and the purpose of your singleness. Single people have a responsibility. If you have a desire to be married, it's going to look different than if you have a desire to be single. And oftentimes we can get that confused. And I want to make something extremely clear, that whatever He's preparing you for, He's also preparing you right now. He's not just preparing you to be a good spouse, which we'll talk about this week as well, but He's preparing you to be a good friend, a good brother, a good sister, a good son or daughter, a good aunt or uncle like me. So before I met my wife now, I was constantly trying to play matchmaker. I was constantly trying to be the God over my relationship, be the God over my life in that area, and I wasn't turning it over to God. And I realized it was a teeter-totter, seesaw attitude I had, is the more I invested in my dating life, the less I invested in God. The more I invested in God, the less I was investing in my dating life, and I started to see a trend there. And then it hit me that it's not up to me. It was my desire, it was my desire I was chasing, not God's in my life. Because if God's not over an area in your life, He's not going to be in that area in your life either. And this is where I want to speak to everybody. Apply this to your life. If you're not pursuing Christ in a certain area, He's not going to be in that area. And it's not going to be successful. We can make plans all we want to, which God wants us to. He tells us to make plans. But Christ has to be in it. He wants to guide us. He doesn't want us to be lazy, sit back and be like, God's got it, no big deal. He does, but He wants us to act. He wants us to go through the actions. Proverbs 16:9 says this, "The heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps." There's a purpose in your singleness. There's a purpose in your marriage, obviously. And here's the purpose. God is preparing you. He's preparing you to what's next. He's preparing you for right now. Here's the hard truth. I tell my students this all the time. I tell some of the guy friends I have who are still single or want to be single or desiring a relationship. Here's the hard truth. If you're not happy single, you won't be happy in a relationship. If you don't have a relationship with God when you're single, you're more than likely not going to have a relationship with God in a relationship. And ladies, I'm going to pick on you for a second because I picked on the guys. Don't missional date. If you know what that is, you know what it is. But missional dating, if he's not a Christian beforehand, he won't be a Christian while you're dating. That's the hard truth. Their relationship with Jesus is more important than their relationship with you. And your relationship with Jesus is more important than your relationship with anybody. I want to leave you with this. Single or not single, what is the purpose of your life right now? Where are you heading next? How are you to honor God right now in your singleness? How is He preparing you for marriage? And how is He potentially preparing you for a life of singleness? As Kevin DeYoung says, just do something. Just do something. And remember to make your path and let the Lord establish your steps. God bless.